Welcome to Get Real with Jack and Cindy, where the stories aren't polished and the advice isn't trendy. We talk houses, markets, and the life that happens in between. The wins, the screw-ups, and everything unseen.
We are going to be talking this time about square footage, changing quite a bit for homes being built, and also about some roof relief. Hi, I'm Cindy Morrison.
And I'm Jack Wallace.
This is Get Real with Jack and Cindy.
And we're here to give you relief. Yeah, no, this is interesting. So you and I we've talked ad nauseum about this probably, but I keep saying, and I think you've always agreed with me, that we're going to have to start getting square footage down in a lot of houses because, we're talking about making houses affordable for more people younger. And I was dopamine scrolling, and which we often do, and this came up, and I'm not going to say the name of the builder, but it's one of the top builders in the country, and this is saying that they have figured out that it's the rates story, the idea that it's all about the rates. That's why the market is not doing anything, or that the minute the rates go down, that the market's going to magically be better, which we have seen when the rates go down, the market opens up a little bit, but it has not been as dramatic as everybody thought whenever that happened. So they're saying that it really isn't just about that. In fact, what they're finding is over the last year, the average home size dropped 7%. I'm sorry, since 2020. From 2,092 square feet to 1,954 square feet. Now, 7%,
and this is the average for that builder, but I think it gives you a look at the bigger picture.
And they have been very successful even through this whole period. So that's they've found the market that will buy and how to sell. Like, I think, that's the one thing with these kind of companies, they have to figure out how to keep selling their inventory.
Absolutely.
So they've reduced by 7%, which that's a lot of square footage. I mean, 10% almost of homes get 10% smaller.
And I want to take this back. So Jack talked about this sometime last year. We do these weekly, so not sure what episode.
Yeah.
But
what year, what month?
Yeah, you were specifically talking about that the square footage has got to come down because houses have gotten so expensive with the interest rates up. Something has to give. And if we're going to do price by square foot, the square footage has got to come down so the house can be affordable.
Well, the other side of it is we don't want the house prices, the values to all plummet.
Right.
I mean, we've all built equity, right? And we don't. So it's a real throwing the baby out with the bathwater situation, because if we get to where the house prices come down to meet the market need, that's a problem for the people that have counted on that. Especially for the people that want to retire off that equity or use it for things. So that's a big deal. So that's the one thing. And then this is interesting too. 81% of their buyers use their in-house mortgage arm for rate buy-downs and tailored financing. Now that tells me it is somewhat about the rate, right?
Mm-hmm. Because they're looking for ways to get that down.
And they've had some great promotions, and they've done really a lot to get that happening. So, what a rate buy down is, for those of you who don't know, we always talked about talking over people's head and using terms that aren't familiar. So if you don't know
realtors
that, it's just because it's a real estate thing. Yeah. So when you get a loan or a mortgage, let's say the interest rate's going to be 6.5%. You can spend money, it's quite a bit of money, but it's, closing cost money, and you can buy that percentage down. So you can buy from like a 6.5 to a 6.25, say.
And when that's important is, let's say you're going to stay in that house for a long time. Then the amount of money you spend, or you ask your sellers in a seller concession to spend to buy that down, is going to save you money over the cost of that loan. Yeah. If you are going to move in 2, 3, 5 years, buying that point down probably isn't going to do anything.
It's a great point, Cindy, because you also have to look at is it going to pay off for you in the long run? Because is the lump sum that you're paying going to pay off compared to that lower interest rate. And the other thing is, a lot of times people will let the price stay the same, but ask the seller to take like a $10,000 reduction, not in price, but in concession. So they pay the $10,000 towards the buy down, but keep the price where it is. And so in a way, it makes sense for the buyer because that their monthly is lower. So there's different ways to manipulate that, but that is interesting that it is. We are seeing that the rates are a problem because if 80% of them are using that element, that's everybody. That's basically everybody. Basically, is using the rate buy down. So that means it's better for them for what we just talked about.
Sure.
So then 63% of their buyers are first-time home buyers, owners. Now, I do question that, whether that means like this truly first-time homeowners or like they haven't owned a home for so many years, 2 years or whatever.
And we've talked about that before. I had always thought first-time home buyer had to be a first-time home buyer, and Jack knew, no, there's a certain period of time that the clock resets. If you had a divorce and lived in an apartment for so many years, then when you buy your home, if you wanted to do an FHA loan as a first-time buyer and have those incentives, then you could.
And this company tends to be kind of in that affordable range, so that also could be why that skews. But it is wonderful to me to hear that there's people coming into the market. What it also tells us is that a lot of people aren't leaving their homes and going to a new home. So the buyer pool is made up a lot of new people.
Which means the price point is going to need to be down, and all the things that make that possible for them to be able to afford it, because now the age of the first-time home buyer nationally is in their mid to late 30s.
I think it's actually gone over into the 40s now. And then their lower tier brand now averages 1,400 to 1,600 square feet in order to hit the price points competitors can't reach. So again, what is happening here? Which is funny because I live in 1,600 square feet.
Do you? Is your house that size?
I live in a 1950s ranch because guess what? After the war in the 50s, they were building ranch-style houses, and that was the size they were building for families. They would raise families of 3 and 4 in that house. I'm like, wow.
And because it's a ranch, seems so much bigger. Because if you had a 2-story, you would have about that same square footage downstairs anyway.
I always joke. It's sort of funny because I never went up to have to come down.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going smaller than I am, but I don't have to go, up. So that's the main takeaway. But it's basically saying buyers are still out there. It's that we have to find products that appeal to the mass market. So, of course, this is not appealing to the age group and the money people that are looking for that real step up luxury.
Right.
Well, this is really talking kind of about basic mid-America, mid-economy, but we have got to figure it out for people.
Yeah.
We really do. And that's, you and I are both so passionate. We talk about that all the time, that we want young people to get into this market and build generational wealth. And this is telling me that now we have real data from 2020 to now that the trend is when you go down in square foot, then you sell.
Yep. And like I said,
it's new.
You called it. You said this was coming.
What I think is
spot on.
Absolutely. What I think is cool is we're talking about new homes that are going down in square footage, and that's very important. I'll tell you why. Because it's difficult to go down in square footage when it comes to building because the land cost has gotten so high.
That's why builders do 2 stories, because you can get more square footage on that footprint.
Right. And then again, knowing this company, when you drive by their additions, their lots seem very close together. They seem pretty stacked. But that makes sense because you're going to have to get a little bit less size of lot, a little smaller house that fits on it. But if you want your slice of Americana, there you go. And the other thing that we've talked about is we have raised a generation of kids to think that they should move into the house they grew up in. Yeah. And my parents didn't start out in the house that I grew up in.
No.
I didn't start out in the house that I live in now. Like you start here and then you move up. That's also, that. And so starting at 14 to 1,600 square feet does not mean you're going to have to stay there.
Right.
But I love that they're doing that with new homes, because that tells us it's not just about going out and trying to find like neighborhoods like mine and older homes. And then, also young people buy into those and they have all kinds of problems because the homes are older and they're not prepared for that. So with this, you're getting warranties, you're getting, all those things. So I think that's a good thing that we're seeing that. It also tells us that people still want to buy homes.
Yes.
Because we've been told that generation just didn't want to buy homes. And that is obviously not true.
And it's more because they can't afford them.
And we can all blame it on their age and but the truth is that it is hard.
Well, I mean,
we went to a fast food place the other night. I mean, it was at lunch, and it was 2 adults and
$23.
We had no. We had the $10, whatever each, and then the kids got, they're teenage boys, but it wasn't crazy. It was $50 some plus tip was $65. I mean, it was stupid expensive for a fast food place.
Wow.
That has a line out the door all the time. It's fairly new, but it's like, how are people affording to do this? And I don't think they are affording to do it. I think they're affording it on their credit cards. And then they can't afford to buy a house. I mean, we do have to we're going to have to start getting back to budgeting. That's part of it. But
I've got a deal I'm working on right now where it's a mother and her 2 kids, and they all have separate rents, but they figured out, hey, if instead of leasing separately, why don't we all go together and buy a home that works for all 3 of us?
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have the Golden Girls. That is becoming like I've had a lot of people looking at my open houses that are like a little bit in that age group. Mm-hmm. Although that age group was a lot younger than we thought. They were all like in their mid-40s.
Oh, I know. Well, are you talking about the Golden Girls?
Yes.
So one of my favorite memes was when it showed the Golden Girls, and then it showed the Sex and the City, and So It Goes. Their second show.
Same age.
They're all the same age, and how the Golden Girls, beautiful, but looked much older than the Sex and the City group. So
Whitney was so funny too. The one that played the mother, Sophia.
She was the youngest.
She was the youngest of all. Yeah. Well, of course, Vicki Lawrence now is playing Carol Burnett's mom again on Palm Desert, or the show, which is so funny because she was like 20 years younger than Carol, and now again she's playing the mother of Carol.
Oh my gosh!
Now, anyways, I digress. But yeah, I mean, community living is probably going to be a thing. We're going to have to get creative. I mean, we really are, because housing is important. Have you watched The House of Guinness?
Yes.
So I know the story is crazy and fun and all that, but I thought it was so fascinating when they built the house for the poor people, and then they're standing there with a house, and it looked kind of like a house today. Like when they were brand new, they looked like. Of course, that's probably that house would still be there today in Ireland.
Right.
It's in 1850, but. Mm-hmm. It's a cool show.
Oh yeah, very cool. There's so many good things streamed. So we'll
we'll
come back around to streaming.
But we've been the same problem since then. I mean,
right.
Housing has been a problem. In fact, England had a terrible, terrible problem with affordability in housing during the 60s and 70s. Like, it was really, really bad. That's where punk music came from, because of that. There was an uprising of the people because of how high inflation had gotten, and then their symbol of the Queen living in luxury, and then that's where the whole punk movement came out of.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah. So we have to figure it out. But I do think this is really great that we're figuring out. And then the other thing too is, building all these apartments that are $1,500 to $2,000 square or $100 a month for that age group is nice, but in some ways they're so nice that then they feel like they're going down in quality to buy a house. So I think it's kind of keeping them a little bit golden handcuffed too.
Well, I wish we would go back to the conversation we were having in November, because I have heard nothing more about it, when the president was talking about making portable mortgages, where you would be able to take, if you have a 3% mortgage on the home right now and you bought another home, you could take that mortgage with you. Creative things like that. We've got to come up with something.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of having a problem right now. And just in general, it just feels like it's all about sound bites, not solutions. And, and maybe that's something that the industry is going to have to go, oh, that would be a way for us to keep people. Maybe it starts the conversation where that happens. But yeah, I mean, but again, the answer is not easy because you aren't going to get people who have 3% mortgages to give them up easily. You're not going to, people don't want to give up their house value that they built their equity in. So how do you suddenly just throw these kids in and say, then are we putting them in homes that they shouldn't be in because they're way too expensive? Because I don't want that either.
No.
I don't sell. I mean, if you go and get a mortgage, sorry, loan people, and I know most of you don't do this, but if you go get a loan and they tell you you can afford this, and you think, there's no way I can afford that. There's no way you can afford that.
Right.
If your instinct is, there's no way I could afford that.
That means no food, no vacation, no gas for your car. I mean, there's all kinds of other things you're going to have to give up because there's a certain amount of money you have depending on,
100%.
what you do, if you have a family, all the things.
Is it going to push you a little bit? That's okay. I mean, it's not that it, but if it is like, there is no, I mean, if your instinct is that is wrong, it's wrong. You just,
right.
And it may be that on paper you can do that. But I mean, I think people get into such a mess. And then the other side is, I keep saying this, and I think this is part of this too. Bigger house, what is that? The bigger the pile, the more it stinks. I mean, a big house is more utilities, more toilets, more things that go wrong, more roof.
More things to clean.
Yeah, absolutely. Truly. And decorate and furnish.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, again, like it's trying to be smart about what you actually need.
Yes.
And I think sometimes people are just so ready to make leaps in their life that they go too early. Now, there was some relevance to that, and a lot of people are probably really glad they did during the pandemic. Like make the leap whenever the interest rates were 3%, because we were telling people
you'll never see this again.
And you know what? You always just say whatever you want people to buy a house. I'm like, I do not. Now, when they were 3% interest rate, I was saying you are stupid to not buy right now or refinance.
Oh yeah.
Like this is stupid, cheap money.
Right.
And I remember people going, I'm going to wait till they go down, and then now they're still waiting.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to play the game smart. But so sometimes in that situation, it was worth doing that, and I understand that. But right now, we're not in that situation.
Sure. So let's talk about roofs, because I know this has been
The roof is on fire.
This is a passion project for us, not because we want it to be. When I did all my numbers,
we live in Oklahoma right now.
Yes. Yeah. When I did all my numbers for 2026, 1/4 of the deals that I did had to have a new roof.
So 1 out of 4.
1 out of 4 had to have a new roof to close.
That's crazy.
And not because the roofs were leaking, not because there was necessarily an issue. It's because they were all over what the insurance company of the buyer, what they were willing to insure was older than 10 years old. And so there are some options, but you need to know if you're selling your house and your roof is over 10 years old, there may be an issue, and you may not know there's an issue until the buyers try to get their insurance. So buyers don't do that at the last minute. But
let's do a real fun recap of that, because we're also talking about that all of our insurance rates have tripled, and our deductibles have doubled. So what used to be 2% many times now is 4% deductible. And guess what that 4% or 2% is?
Let them know, Jack.
It is 2 or 4% or whatever percent your deductible is for wind and hail. Read the fine print. Of the value that they have placed on your house.
The value of the house, not the value of the roof.
So if they say your house is $250,000 to replace it, then your deductible at 2% is $5,000. So even if you have full replacement and it costs you $12,000, which that's an inexpensive roof, then you're only getting $7,000 towards that roof. You're going to have to come up with $5,000. But here's what's even scarier. If it's a 4%, which most of them are now, that is a $10,000 deductible. So with full coverage on a $12,000, you're getting $2,000. If you have cost replacement, like where it's whatever the value is with deduction for the time, you ain't getting anything.
And I will tell you,
you're basically self-insuring.
If you get into a situation where the buyer's insurance doesn't want to insure the house or the roof because of the roof, there are insurance companies out there that are saying no matter the age of the roof, we will insure it. But again, your deductibles are going to be very high. So as a seller, you need to already start thinking about that roof may be a big part of this deal. And as buyers, you know, it's really nice if you can move into a house that has a new roof, because you got 10 years before, it's going to be an issue if you sell.
We all probably need to start self-escrowing, like that's the other thing too. I've used this term a lot in the past, and I think I should bring it back because I think self-escrow is something to really think about. Mm-hmm. Have your own escrow account and really make it where you're like, put an extra $100 or $200 a month, especially with young people. I'm really big on this. Put an extra $100, $200, $300 in an account that is your true escrow account, that if you get caught with something, a dishwasher that breaks, or roof that, I've had this a lot with younger buyers where they'll have, say, $20,000 to use to buy a house. And they want to put all $20,000 down because it'll make their payment a little bit lower than doing, say, $10,000. If they're responsible kids, let me repeat that. If you're responsible, then I would think about doing $10,000 towards your closing and putting $10,000 in an escrow, your own escrow account, so you have it to pay your house payment if you ever need it, to fix the roof if you ever need to fix the dishwasher, and try to keep it in that range of money. That's just my opinion, but I think that's probably where we're all probably getting to, where we need to have something like that, because, and I understand it. And I'm not defending insurance companies, but I'm not vilifying them either.
Correct.
Because they're doing what they have to.
They need to stay in business.
Supposedly, they're not even making money. They're not even making money because there's been so many problems. Yeah, the other thing that's scary to me is that's a lot of waste. Like, if we're replacing roofs just because they're old, but they're actually good roofs, and we're stripping them down, and that's going into landfill, and then we're putting new roofs on. Like,
okay, you're getting way too deep now.
But doesn't that seem a little bit like, if it's still good, why would we not? I don't know.
Well, there are a couple of options out there. One is one that we've talked about before, the Fortify Oklahoma, through the Oklahoma Insurance Commission. As a homeowner, you can look at getting a grant. They look at age of the roof. They look at the value of your home. There's a whole lot of things hurdles you got to jump over to get it, but you can get up to $10,000 paying for a new fortified roof if you're not going through insurance.
And you really probably need to be, I think that your income level is 65, 70 or under. I'm just guessing that.
Yeah, there are a lot of hurdles, yeah. but it's worth.
That's huge. If the a lot of people, there are a lot of people, the majority of people are fed in that category.
Yes. Sure, so if the state, is going to grant that to you and you don't have to pay it back, that's definitely worth something to look into. So you're going to look at the Oklahoma Insurance Commission here in our state. And
you use their approved people, like you said, and you're getting, and they make you use a very high quality roofing material.
So the idea is fortifying the roofs so they don't have to replace them as often. Yeah. Another option is kind of like an Aflac option. It's not actually.
It is hard to say that without sounding like a duck.
I know, right?
Never thought of that. Aflac.
But with Aflac, clearly that's that's health.
It isn't Aflac.
It is not them. That's the health idea. But the idea is you have insurance and you get something like one of these supplementals from somebody like Aflac with your health insurance that helps take care of what insurance doesn't. Now there are companies that are coming out, and you're just going to have to put it into ChatGPT or Google it. There are different ones out there, but that
honestly, we're still doing the research because we've heard of this, but we are not. I mean, we hopefully will have some information soon about companies that do that for you.
Yes, but now there are companies that are offering supplemental
Which is
insurance.
A great idea.
Great idea.
I mean, even if you could take the 4% and do the lower cost insurance, and then do that, I mean, it could really make a huge difference for a lot of people. That actually might, if you really think about that, that really might be a good answer for this whole mess if we could do that.
Yep.
There could be a third company,
so we'll find out more.
Secondary insurer.
Yeah, we'll find out more. We'll see if maybe we can have one of them on our podcast. But knowing that there are some companies out there that are starting to do this might be an option for you. So we wanted, since we had some new information, we wanted to make sure and give that to you, since we have been preaching on roofs for way too long.
Well, and that was before this whole State Farm thing, right? I mean, and it comes out with State Farm that they're getting sued by the state of Oklahoma and a class action and all. I mean, like, we have a real issue right now, and I know there are a lot of great State Farm insurance people out there. I think it was a company issue and terrible what they were doing, but I mean, it's like that's why people are they're all struggling. Those companies are trying to figure out what to do, and some of them are doing it okay, and some of them are not. Obviously, so.
And we'll watch that shake out for sure. But
yeah, so then basically the Fortified Oklahoma, and then that self-escrowing, and then also taking care of it.
Yes.
Like having people inspect it and look at it a couple of times, like every couple of years, to see if there's any issues. Because the other thing too is you can need a roof a lot sooner than 10 years if you don't take care of it.
And even as simple as having your gutters cleaned out.
Yeah, and that they're rolling down, not back.
We had an issue with a brand new roof and brand new-ish roof and gutters. We just thought we had the gutter covers and we didn't have to clean them out as much as we did, and we ended up having a dam that ended up coming back into the house. Not anyone's fault but ours. So,
and see, in my back, I had to take the gutter covers off because they were getting so clogged up with all of the acorns and the leaves that then the water wasn't getting anywhere, and it was even. I mean, it's like you just have to pay attention. It's kind of like I always tell people, they go, "Should I have the sprinklers inspected and pay for that?" I'm like, "Yes." Because nobody knows whether their sprinklers are working or not. Like exactly. The only time I know if my sprinkler is not working is if I have dead grass.
Yeah, because mine goes off at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m.
I mean, you're sitting there going, "Oh wow, look at that! Look at that!" I mean, it's just something you don't pay attention to. So
right,
and it's gutters are the same thing. It's just if they're clogged and you're not seeing water run out, like you should check them and you should do that. But yeah, so the roof thing is just it's a gift that keeps on giving, doesn't it? But,
yes. So as we wrap up, anything that you've been watching, you've been streaming that you love?
I really like the House of Guinness. I thought that was really good. But I'm kind of also getting into a weird place where I kind of don't want to invest my time in new shows. Like I want to find one that's like 3 or 4 seasons because I'm like, I don't renew them. And then I'm like, well, I'm really invested in these people now. So like with House of Guinness, I'm like, what happens? I mean, like they leave it at the cliffhanger and then you don't know if they're going to finish it or not. So, yeah. So that's a little bit. But
Breaking Bad. I waited until that entire thing came out and then binge watched through it for a couple of months because I knew there was a final ending to it.
His and Hers.
So good.
So good.
So good.
And
I love that actor.
Watch all the way to the end of the credits of the last one because it is easy to think that was good.
The Rip is good too.
Oh, is it good?
It's really good. I love watching Ben Affleck and Ben Affleck and
you want to say Affleck today?
Affleck, and Mark Damon. No, Matt Damon. Thank you. Oh my gosh, can't believe I got those wrong.
Rosie O'Donnell. And I was going Rosie McDonald.
The Rip is really good.
There's also a new comedy series like 6 Show Ben something. They've got the comedian whose daughter's in private school and he tries to fit in with the hoity-toity parents.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be great. I haven't watched it, but that's what I think the next thing we're going to watch.
And a perfect one to go back and watch one of my absolute favorite comedies, Schitt's Creek, which is spelled SCHITT apostrophe S. Yes, Catherine O'Hara passed away, and what a loss! What an amazing actress, human. I mean,
Body of work.
She lit up the screen. So going back, I think I'm going to go back and start watching that as well. And The Lincoln Lawyer, new season dropping. So
The thing that I always laugh about the Catherine O'Hara, the Home Alone.
Uh-huh.
Like, what parent would really leave their child like that? Like, what? Like, I go all the way to another country and then go, oh, our child is gone.
Well, when you have that many children.
How long did they take to get back? I mean, it's just a little bit like, some of it was just sort of hysterical, like, now looking back on it. But it was such a good movie.
And maybe that's why I only had 2 kids, 2 hands, 2 kids. I didn't leave them if I took them on vacation.
Yeah, it's interesting. But, yeah, that'll be sad. But, no, but I think it does look like there's a lot. Oh, my gosh. What is the coaching show on Apple?
The new one that's come out.
No.
Oh. No?
The name of the guy that, oh my gosh, hello. Welcome to your 50s, almost 60s. Give me a second. You know, the one where he's the coach in England and he's from America.
Oh, yes.
Anyway.
Darn it. It's so good.
They have it's coming out. They are going to do
a new one?
Yeah, they're going to do another
Because
season.
I thought it ended.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
How are we not thinking?
It's his name, isn't it?
Yes, it's his name.
Anyway, it's a classic. You need to watch it. And I love the actress that plays the head of the team. I don't know her name either.
Her.
But
Hannah Weddington.
Yes,
I know her name.
She can sing, she can act, she can dance. She's basically a taller Kristen Chenoweth.
She's amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah, they cast that very, very well. Shrinking, also good.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of an actor that was in the show,
you know what's funny about
figure
Shrinking?
out
I watched the first season. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I need to go back and see now. I've
Keep
got
watching.
those seasons to watch. Yeah,
I didn't. It took me.
Brilliant.
It took me a while just
I
to
loved
get into
season
it.
1, but then it's like I love him, and then when the next time it comes around, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. I need to jump back on it.
Yeah.
I've been bad about Apple.
Yeah, me
I just
too.
don't go over to Apple. I need to.
And I think there's a new The Morning Show, which
that's around forever, and it's good.
I love that show. There's so many things that are very accurate about TV news.
That's good to know. Yeah. Good to know.
All right, so we probably should hang up our microphones, our
Absolutely.
earphones.
Thank you for joining us. Let us know what you're watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Get Real with Jack and Cindy, where the stories aren't polished and the advice isn't trendy. We talk houses, markets, and the life that happens in between. The wins, the screw ups, and everything unseen.